Yeah, this is the final piano piece, which I might add to this possible second album. It's called Empty Places, and it's just more or less a written improvisation. Quite simple. Played on an out of tune piano at school, and it was just really fitting. I think it sounds sort of English, even Peter Warlock-like. I quite like the idea of it maybe closing the proceedings. Still thinking about it. It needs to be produced, and maybe it needs something else added to it, but not quite sure yet. I think it's sort of got those chords in, which I like. No idea what they are at all. I just sort of go when my fingers go on piano. I don't really know what I'm doing.
Have you got a name for this new project? Just so I can separate it from the old stuff, or?
Yeah, let's call it, just call it second album or something. Album 2. Album 2, that's it, isn't it?
I mean, if you want the double track feel,
yes,
you will need to use 2 tracks,
sure,
that are both, not perfect being the sort of the goal, but you know what I mean, as close to as perfect as you can get.
yes,
And more importantly, as close to each other as you can get.
sure.
If you use a copy, like if we used to use, if we were to have to take part from track 2 and put it into track 1.
I can, yeah.
Just give me one more quick run through of it, just to double check all the sound on each of these mics, and then we'll be ready to go for a take.
Okay, yeah.
Do you want the click to do the run through? Okay.
Since doing the 2 studio sessions over the last 3 weeks, things are changing with this potential second acoustic album. This always happens. You do the first session, you go and do the second session, you come away from it, and I've realised that there's a huge percentage of it which really needs to be rethought. So that's the idea. So this little list here shows us where we're up to, and this is what I always do. I always have a list, and then I go through it and sort of, add things as a result of fine listening. The big problem with doing an album by yourself is, of course, you have no producer, so everything is really coming from within and from what you glean as part of the research process. By research process, I mean a wide listening vista. You've got to listen to what's going on in the field, and I think if you don't, I think whatever you do is doomed to fall into the past, and which is no bad thing. But again, I think it's got to be contemporary. So yeah, things like the songs. There are some songs which I think need to be thrown out, and I think one of them which doesn't suit the album is "Cruel Intention." No Cruel Intentions. I think that's to go. sort of, I'm not really convinced. There's another song, I don't know, which at the moment sounds like appalling cabaret, and that just has to be changed. I've got a few ideas how to change that.
What would you do if I told you I loved you? What would you do? Well, I just don't know. I try to see into my mind's eye. What would you do? Well, I just don't know. Would you walk away from me just to keep your sanity? We can teach our minds but not our hearts. Do you know? Do you know? What would I do if you told me you
A lot of it is not doing the obvious, not using bass guitar and drums, for example, which I did in the second session. The first session I put down the acoustic guitar parts, the second session I put down the vocal parts, and also added some simple arrangements like electronic drums, big mistake one, bass guitar, big mistake two. So those have to be obliterated, it has to be rethought. I also think I definitely need strings on this album, so I've got a friend coming in who's going to put some violin for me, and hopefully there'll also be a cellist coming along. It's a case of adding imaginative arrangements. You know, I think a song either lives or dies on the arrangement. Sometimes look at Nick Drake's Pink Moon, it had absolutely nothing apart from an occasional piano overdub. The strength of those songs is absolutely amazing. You know, so hoping to achieve anything like that, I suspect, is slim. But I mean, we just continue to hope and try.
Here I stand so quiet on a lonely night, haloed by the moon, she's shining bright. Can you see me? I can see you.
So yeah, I've also decided that if I'm going to drop No Cruel Intentions, I'm going to have to replace it with something else. I don't have to, but it seems like a logical thing to do. And I've got a solo piano piece which I wrote about a year ago, and I think that I might put that on, import it into the system. I recorded it live on an out-of-tune piano at Rossall, and it really is out of tune, but it sounds great. And I just think it sounds really original, and I think it might just exist by itself, and it might even close the album. Not sure yet, it could do. It's all I'm not sure it could do. You know, it's all sketch thinking, and a lot of it is to do with experimenting, and also listening hard to detail. The running order's wrong, that all needs to be changed. Concepts change continually. So it's a case of rethinking and rejigging.
How could you say the highway will take you by? Past all the years you've wanted the lights. See how those wheels come to faster than before. Cross that bridge to better ways now. You've been good to me. You've helped me find my way. to pave the way for that.
With first things, it took me 30 years to do that. And again, when we came to do it, eventually it was going in and doing the same, using a very similar process of redrafting and rethinking the scheme. And a lot of them are sort of thumbnail sketches, a bit like ordinary composition. The great thing about ordinary composing is that you can write a bit, sketch it out, go back, look at it in fine detail, go back, re-sketch it, and the process continues. In this, you've got to do it outwardly. It's all a sort of herd sonic process as opposed to an inward sonic process, as with composition. But nonetheless, I mean, it's extremely interesting. It's always a steep educational curve for things like this, and that's the way it has to be.
If I crack, would you fold? Would you? Will you laugh? Will you fly away with me, wounded bird, on the lawn, in our garden, in the sun? I see you, you see me. Can we truly be free? Hear the cry of the sage, water's edge. Do I go or do I stay? Speak the word, I will come to our garden.